Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time. In Field of Glory Empires as Rome. As far as winning the game goes, because we're doing pretty well. We're definitely on track to win. To get the early win in the game, we need to get triple legacy points of the next closest person. We're currently scoring at the rate where we would do that. However, Macedonia is still fairly close to us, meaning the quickest way to get to a win state is probably to bump them off. So that is kind of what we're doing, is we're trying to defeat Macedonia. We're having a little bit of problems with them finding it fairly easy for them to take the forts back after we move on to next objectives. In the interim, between this stream and the last stream, I have thought of a way to potentially deal with that problem, and that is to mobilize some garrison units to just simply stay behind and hold the fortifications after we leave. So that probably wants to be the ally here. These are, in the case of Rome, these are recruit everywhere, and unlike a lot of the other Roman recruit everywheres, which get progressively more expensive the more you get, they have a fixed price. Have a siege resistance of 1, have a range attack of 5, which is about what you'd expect for a skirmisher. So these guys are just utilitarian, do everything. They're not the best of troops. They're not heavy troops, they're medium troops, and or stand-ins for sort of generic skirmisher troops. And we can apparently recruit these in Greece, so we don't have to march these guys over, we can just mass recruit them and start shoving them in the necessary garrisons to hold the line. Or mainly in this case, hold Greece. Because Epirus here, we're not having necessarily problems with the revolts. But I think that's what we're having problems with, is I think the revolts are letting them take the cities back fairly easily. Because when we're on them, there's no revolt risk. Because of the martial law effect. So we need enough guys in them, presumably, to apply a martial law effect. At least until they get reasonably under control. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to make up some garrison units to garrison these places. Start off with making them 6 large. They're not particularly cheap. Well, they're reasonably cheap, right? 40 upfront cost and 10 ongoing cost is not that bad. Mainly the upfront is not that bad. The ongoing is something that may become a problem. Siege will be quick because they basically got no one in the fort. They got no proper siege troops in the fort. So you're moving. Okay, we have you moving to the open territory. That makes sense. Because that's the guy that's good in open terrain. We got you carrying out a siege. We got you moving to carry out a siege. We do have one Macedonian army down here in, I think that's Greece. In Aachen, Greece. Oh, and they happen to be at war. They can. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. I think the troops that we have over here are reasonably well positioned. The boats are reasonably well positioned. How goes fighting in the west? We got a siege over there. We got the main combat stack on the way back. These guys are probably my forest units. So let's actually push these guys up towards... Are there any forests in Macedonia I should be aware of? There's one. Given that, we'll move these guys over to the front. These guys are really specialized in fighting in the forest. Defense penalty, one of those guys aren't going to be very good. Okay, we'll probably just assign these guys to 0, 1. We'll go ahead and move these guys first to here, and then we'll move them across into here, and then as the legions push forward, we'll probably leave them as the garrison in the forest province up here for the moment. So it's them to work. thinking we probably do... Well, no, 2,000 is probably enough money for the moment. You're running around doing paved roads. Assume that's what you're up there for. Yeah, you got a paved road to do. Assuming you can do one there, and you can. Okay, let's go through the provinces. I think we've done assignments for all. Well, actually, we have the we have you to work with. Roman Camp Regional Road. Stay stationary because I'm gonna have you upgrade the Roman Camp right away. That actually looks fine. Okay, let's go through the provinces. Italia Interior. Inferior has nothing. Italia Superior has 2 build slots. We got one here. Kind of worked out with how big our cities are now. The Horton Tillers aren't worth it at all. At some point, I probably should go back around and actually delete them out because core loyalty isn't worth it for a late game city. Could do a perfumery here, which we can already import from somewhere nearby, so we probably give that a pass. It's only 14. Weapon stores. It wouldn't necessarily be the worst choice to pick up for trying to get up to military tier 3, but we're not in a rush for that. We have access to healthcare 3, so we can do the upgrade for the stadium if we were looking for health and or manpower. I think we got plenty of manpower. I think we got plenty of health. It's a net 4 health, 414 money. I think we care about the money a little more than we care about the health. Or we can go to the warehouse here. Where are we standing with infrastructure? That would be the 6th infrastructure building. That would give us access to tier 3 infrastructure. Because of that, I think that is the building we're gonna go. We're gonna go with the warehouse here. That means the next time we get a building slot here, we'll have access to tier 3 culture, commerce, and infrastructure, and health, which should give us a pretty big selection of buildings. Here in Latium, the capital. This actually wouldn't be a terrible place for a slave market. We're kind of looking for more of a loyalty building right now. This wouldn't necessarily be a bad place for a slave market. And the reason is we've kind of reached the size where, okay, slaves are, depending on which slaves you're getting, can be quite rebellious. But at this point, we've got so many Romans, and the Romans are rebellious. So as long as we got the loyalty from other sources, that's fine. But yeah, we're kind of searching for the loyalty from other sources. I think, given the circumstances, we're just going to re-roll here. If we had enough loyalty, I'd go slave market out of these choices. But we don't have enough loyalty. And yeah, I'm not really interested in any of the buildings, so you get a reroll. Going a little bit slow with that warehouse. Let's move the food producers over to production so we can get that warehouse going a little faster. Okay, that is enough. Okay, that works. Next province. 4 openings here. We got a Nobles District Circus. Both of which are pretty nice. And a slave. So we don't need the food on the slave on food, yes. Obvious pick here is probably the courthouse. Also a little bit tempting to pick up the infrastructure building, but I think we can wait on the infrastructure building. We'll take the courthouse here. We lose a little culture, but the decadence reduction in the long run I think will be beneficial. Because I think that'll average out to about 4 decadence over, well, that'll end up being about 4 decadence reduction. Because the decadence is the average over the last 10 turns scale, basically. So reducing it by, 10% of cumulative decadence removed each turn. So you sort of come up to a limit at about 10 turn average. So that's reducing it by 0.4 a turn. Think about over 10 turns, that means your saturation point will be about 4 lower. And that'll build next turn, so that's fine. Middle district building next turn is fine. That looks fine. A couple building slots here to build. Because we have access to marble here, the large quantity is decent. Basically +6 infrastructure, +3 money. With basically no other penalties, it's just a straight upgrade. If it wasn't a straight upgrade, we'd probably go the clear water here, given the circumstances. I do like myself barracks. Well, the alternative is grab health. I think we'll go barracks here. Yeah, I mean, it's fine to build. Got a 1 and a 2. Could grab a ranch. Don't need to grab a ranch. It's a 19 culture scriptorium. We're importing the papyrus from a foreign state, but that's fine. As long as we're importing it from somewhere. Actually, somewhat surprised at saying it's coming from a foreign. Where is Menace? Oh, interesting. Why are you telling me you're being costed for importing from Menace? From Menace costing 3. Okay. Guess there's just something going on in Menace. Yeah, that does make sense. The Menace would have it. Just surprised that's a cost. Okay. And we have the 2 slot here. Orchard wouldn't be too bad if we were looking for health buildings. I think we're more interested in potential to build a road, though. Or working towards armor. There's armor in the pool. Armor is in the pool. Oh, 6 loyalty is not bad. We could do some loyalty. Grab the Tribune. Nothing to build here. In fact, we can move more guys over to culture, making money, sort of stuff. And we got 29 more that we can move to food, something like that. Okay, that looks fine. We could probably move some off of food onto production if we wanted to build a little faster. And I have a little attempt to do that because we are making... Oh, actually, I'll make it a little bit slower instead, but that'll work. That's fine. One open build slot there. Ooh, we got a couple different upgrade options. Where are we exactly? There. Okay, so that's not next to where we're going to get immediately... Well, not where we're going to be rebel vulnerable. Or not rebel, barbarian vulnerable. So less of a priority to get the wall upgrade. We'll go ahead and pick the courthouse instead then. Two open slots. Preceptor house. Oh, it would definitely be the Preceptor house if we had the papyrus. We're going to pass due to the lack of papyrus. The wax shop, though, will be good. And we're seeing we're getting some bonuses off a place like Scriptorium that require wax. It's also not bad. Oh, I suppose in that case we did have papyrus from someplace, so... Or had a building already importing papyrus, so... I think you only need to import it once per state. We got a bunch of people here that we need to culture convert, so cult site. Otherwise I'm going to go Wheelmaker. Always hard to pass up on line expansion, so we'll take the line expansion. Otherwise I probably would have taken the monument there. Okay, we got enough food here. We can get these guys on to production. Accelerate production a bit. Open 2 open build slots. This is a position... Right now we're next to Barbarian, so it's less important. I'm tempted to build the walls here. Oh, that's a really good expert stonecutter. We'll go the expert stonecutter because it's so good. We got a toolmaker upgrade here, which is a kind of a no-brainer. You got queued up, and we wanted you to go there. New to the construction on that turn, that location next turn anyway, so we'll just hold place. That's fine. We got an open build slot here. Is there anything we want? We are desperate for loyalty here, because we want to be around 75. Well, I suppose we're less desperate and more very interested. I don't want to pay 23 money for 16 loyalty, though. And we have access to tier 3 buildings, so we can get better loyalty buildings anyway. Let's do a reroll so we can try to get those better buildings. Nothing out here to build. We're maintaining a little bit of surplus food so that the troops in the area can leech off the food. Oh, I suppose if we're not building anything here, we get the guys off of construction. Oh, there's so many slaves here. Citizens, onto loyalty, or onto culture. We are getting a pretty big culture and commerce penalty here. Wow, actually, that tells us how good our culture buff is right now. We got 120% penalty, and we're still making some. Oh wait, given the circumstances and the fact that it's so bad there, we'll go ahead and make food instead. Similar sort of thing here. The penalty here is dropped to 20%, so it's a lot more tempting to try to make some culture here. Again here, we got some analysis that begin to mitigate themselves. Okay, about there. Next province is that big one. Cool. Again, we got a bunch of people to convert, so picking up the culture conversion building makes sense. Whenever I'm offered training ground, I tend to grab it, if assuming it has access to flax. It does. Archery range is maybe a little more interesting of a choice. What is the provincial here? It's medium cav? Medium cav. So that would benefit from the archery. We might postpone getting the military building then and go street followers for the culture. If we're desperate for loyalty, we could go the pleasure house, but I think we're gonna pass. That's not a good candle. If we're trying to fortify the place, the siege workshop wouldn't be that bad. With the logic, it provides a bunch of siege resist, provides some siege weapons, that sort of stuff. We do have the ability to import leather here, so I think we will go with the siege workshop. Okay, we got 3 and a 1 open slot, so 3 in the new one, that makes sense. We're looking for either expert stonecutter or a prospect resource to play. We're not offered either of those. Well, we're not desperate for loyalty because we have just conquered, which will go in next turn. So we'll pick up the training ground. Grab that school. Okay, and now we're on to the loose territories, and the loose territories don't have anything to do. Cool. Okay, no interesting regionals, so we cycle the turn. First turn of the stream. And we see how the advancing goes. again, we're kind of sort of, in a way, we're actually targeting sort of the most valuable of the Macedonian territories first, which is where a lot of the struggle is coming from. Here comes the main Macedonian army. We're on the defense, they're on the attack. We're in the hills. Our general is good at attacking as defending, or their general is good at defending as attacking, so this is just a fuzz state for everyone. We skirmish. One of the strengths of the Roman army is the legions have ranged attack, so they're heavy infantry with a range attack, which gives us an advantage in that skirmish phase. Oh yeah, there goes their front line. And we get a good chunk on the retreat. At this point, that stack's run out of all proper line infantry and has just got skirmishers and cav left. They're attacking, we're defending. At least in this case, we've got our defender, we've got a defending centric general on the defense duty. So this should go reasonably well for us. Again, ranged fire coming off of the Roman legions means that we basically exhaust a good chunk of their back line, or the front line, and even some of their back line in this case. Oof, we lost our general in that fight. Only casualty was the general. Nope, we're back up in the progressing tier. Oh, and we have a golden age, so if anything, I probably want to slow roll the culture a little bit. Interesting, we're making 44,000. Something definitely changed. Changed your income rate. Siege candidate is over. Rome stands victorious. There we go. So we've taken our objective up there. I think that was an objective, yes? Yes. Oh, that took us into Golden Age. And I guess one of the Golden Age effects is making us make a lot more money. Here's what my immediate guess is. So I'm having difficulty trying to find where they... There we go. 50% taxation bonus, that makes sense. I'm like, we're making more money than I remember. Yeah, you've got a big taxation bonus right now. That would track. And we re-siege that place down. The Limes apparently was survived. So what's the revolt risk? So why we've got the army sitting there, it's going to revolt risk of like 1. Of course, the army's not going to sit there in perpetuity, but we'll move the army out to the next province or next state. We'll have the 6 LA here come and take over the garrison duties. We'll even go ahead and assign them this 0-0 siege expert, so they're extra good at defending if they come under siege. Change our recruitment policy so we can send home some of the extra recruits because we're recruiting like the Dickens and we don't quite need that much. Got you under siege, got you under siege. This place wasn't fortified, so the open terrain guy would manage to simply walk in there. Okay, our best defender is this 1-1 strategist. So even though he's specialized in open terrain warfare, we can give command to him. Okay, so Romans are there. Don't have anything to build. We have limes here, so we can probably just move on to the next spot. That area is unfortified. We might go running over there. Bypass this fort. Yeah, let's dash over there. We'll bypass that fort, grab that location, and then we'll come back once we've dug in there. We've got one real Macedonian army there, one real Macedonian army there. In preparation, in case we need more garrisons, let's go ahead and raise another 6 auxilia. We got 2 sieges, 2 guys moving. Got this group who we're going to bring across and just probably throw in a fort for the moment. We're probably going to use them to garrison one of the wooded provinces in the northeast. But we got to get up there first. And they're not going to be specialized for fighting in the hills. Oh, we did pick up that prospector resources. We know exactly where we're going to dump that. Got a desire for one of those right over here. This army will continue to move down in towards Greece, where the war is ongoing. And this army, before we have it running off, can just go ahead and dig in, adding a limes there. And then which way? Let's start moving you back towards Rome. Might not take the most direct route back, so it can spend some time building things as it goes. Oh, we need someone on food production there. Not a lot, but a little bit will go a long way. There we go. Okay, let's cycle through the buildings, because I think we got... oh, actually, we still got the guys working on building and such. So you build limes. Where do we want you next? We want you to move there. Because we got a regional road and a limes to build there, yeah. I don't think we got anything in Italy at this point. Do we have anything in Corsica? You guys in Italy? Yeah. So go to Corsica. It's all the troops in the west, besides the odd batch of skirmishers that we've inherited from federating the local barbarians. If anything, we'll probably want to push this out to do some garrison work in the west. And then, yeah, that's the troops. So we're going to go through the provinces one at a time. Nothing to do here. Oh, yeah, I remember we did currency in the ones where we thought it isn't going to be viable to try to get to +4, which is like 50,000. So it's on money if we have the 100, or if we have the 15,000, it's on money, otherwise it's on culture. We don't need them necessarily for building right now. Yeah. I'm not going to micro it too much to figure out if we need to move more to money. Sculpture here is tempting. That is a decent amount of culture. 28 from the building, plus another 15 more from nearby places. Definitely better than the theater. We got the loyalty here, so it really just comes down to, do I want health? Do I want food or health? Or the culture? We're in the progressing tier right now, so I'm a little bit tempted more to go for food. Yeah, let's pick up wells, and then we're going to be fishing for farm upgrades. So farm upgrade, well upgrade, that sort of upgrades are going to be fine to pick up there. We do need to move some more people over to food, so that the Rome has the necessary food to feed itself. Doesn't need a lot, just a little bit like so. And then here's Rome. Rome, we want to get up above 75 revolt risk. this is probably the building to do it. It'll provide 40 loyalty, 35 money, 65 culture, because we're providing it all its special bonuses, wine, honey, luxury. The proverbial works. And 63 culture versus 1 decadence a turn is probably in our favor, because that'll work out to about 63 culture versus 10 decadence once the effects approach the limit. And that's an acceptable ratio. 6 to 1 ratio is good there. So yeah, that's a definite do. Got a couple of building slots here. Grab a basilica. We do have places we can import the frankincense from because of the improved road network up here. So it's not going to be incredibly expensive. We got marble, we got coral. Sure. Okay, in this case right now, we don't need the loyalty yet, so we're going to pass on the racing track. But yes, a lot of loyalty, a lot of money. Requires gold. The bank here is not as good as I would hope. It's only 47. It's only actually 2 better than this building. Does have much lower decadence, so if we're building it for the decadence reasons, this is better. This also has a percentile modifiers, so it'll make other currency buildings better. So we will go with the bank here. Next province. Nothing to do in that province. Next province. We can move more people from food to production, I suppose. And next province. Well, we got 2 places with an open building slot, so you... Land clear. Land expansion, obvious choice. And yeah, the 0 slot monument here. Long run, that culture is going to be good. 4 slots here. So obviously we've got a lot of improving here we can do. That looks like a bad orchard just because we have the just conquered penalty. And apparently there's a blockade out on the coastline there. Interesting. So we're a little low in loyalty, so it is a little bit tempting to grab the noble district. Yeah, let's grab that noble district to deal with the loyalty issue. And I'm thinking 38 plus 40 is just 37, or just 78. Just above the 75 we really want it to be at. So a little bit more is not going to hurt there. Monument. And when in doubt, if offered at a 0 slot like the monument, grab it. Oh, Milton slot. We also need more people on food here, apparently. Cult site for converting. Okay, so that is enough to feed the province, but we need some to actually build the stuff in the province. So we'll take some of the citizens off, signs of construction. We'll do all 3 places that are actively building something, I think. Oh, we do want some there to maintain the loyalty. Yeah. 2 and 2. That's, given that's a place where we can't build a farm, that's a pretty good orchard. So we'll grab the orchard. Much prefer the orchard over the hemp farm. Well, that is a good tavern. Maybe the tavern. The garum shelf's a little bit better. We'll garum shelf. Got 4 open slots here. Do we have what we need to deal with the irreducible tribe? We do. So we're just waiting for the 20% roll. Oh no, it's 20% if it's a combat power one. I think it's 2% if you have the bullet. So it's like a mean remove chance of like 50 turns. Once you found the building. That's a Daisy and Street Brawler, so we'll grab the Street Brawler. 1 open slot there. Upgrade the amphitheater. Okay. Everything's building there. Whoops. Clicked through the UI. Nothing to build there. Something to build there. A decent orchard if we wanted food. That wouldn't be the worst idea, as that gets to tier 2. We definitely don't need the... Well, it's either that or the fortress. So it's either... We'll dig the fortress in more. Which isn't a poor idea. Yeah, okay, let's do the fortress. We'll probably be searching for the orchard again, but the food building, but that'll be fine. Blacksmith, so we can maybe get an upgraded tool in the future. Need 1 guy on food. Arguably, we can probably move more to food, because right now, nothing to build here. Three, 3, and 1. The best you can do for your 3rd agriculture building would be the orchard. We might just wait for that orchard, because that is decent. It's going to be the best choice on that one. Health-wise, that's the last health building. So if we wanted to go down health, and we're not really worried about health, we would have to do the herbalist. Pass on the public works, because we're going to have the Legion come around and build it. What do we got for the regional? Provincial. The provincial is camels. So yeah, we don't really want to do... Whoops. Don't really want to do the archery. Probably just go to the commerce craft district. Get a little bit more money that way. Well, that's a pretty poor place because of the Dune Stones or Dune Storm. That's mainly affecting commerce and infrastructure. So food's fine, culture's fine. So if we had access to papyrus, that'd be decent culture. We'll probably go smokehouse because it's food and health and things that aren't penalized at the moment. Then we got this one. Yeah, let's go ahead and... Orchard's not a bad choice here. And then we can, at any point when we get offered the next food building, we can just take the whatever it is, because it's going to be about the same. I think the best one out of the other ones is probably the olive oil. 1 and a 2. By being patient, we've got access to this place, which is a money culture... Well, it's costing us money right now. If we had the honey and luxuries, it would be net money producing. It would produce more culture if we had those as well. But most notably, it provides 40 loyalty, so it's going to bring us up to 104 loyalty here. Tempting to grab the worship place here. It's not particularly great, but it provides us that 6 culture building. Or we could just do a reroll and try to pull one of the other ones, which is what I'm actually leaning towards right now. Yeah, we'll reroll and try to pull a different one. Okay. Oh, building slot in one place. Could do the well here. That wouldn't be the worst of choices. We'll probably actually go the Oration Tribune for the loyalty. Which point we're a little bit more tempted to throw people on construction. Oh, that doesn't make any difference in loyalty anyway. Okay, and that's enough to get the Tribune done in a turn. We only need enough for the Tribune to be done, so we need like 60. That's way more than we need. So we'll put you back. So it's 135. We wanted to be adding like 60. Like so. There we go. 1, 1, 2, or 1, 2, and 2. One of these places is already building a military academy, which is good to see. Farm would not be a bad choice. We need a little more food in the area. And it's a little bit better than the Salt House from a raw food standpoint, yeah. Opens manufacturer wouldn't be bad. We do need those every once in a while. Expand your port. I'll come back to you once that's done. And we got 3 open slots in the new place. Could do with a little bit of loyalty, so we'll grab the Tribune. And then we're on to the looses. In this case, we do have a loose. Building walls, dig it in a little bit is not a bad idea. We now have enough to form the Gracia province. So who gets the lucky task of being the capital? Athens. We'll make Athens the provincial capital. Okay. Yeah, so that'll become a provincial capital in next turn. Pop over to the loose one. We got a loose one over here. Deadly, don't get fires there, so we'll go armor instead. Okay, that's all the loose ones. That's all the troops. Let's cycle the turn. See how the advancing troops and the sieges go. We're on the attacking. So our attacking general is attacking their defending general. It's a bit of a wash. We both get 3 rolls. There you can see the strength of the Roman ranged weapon fire. We managed to exhaust basically the entire front line. 9v3. We get 3 dice rolls. They get 3 dice rolls, but it's hard to go uphill against a 6 swing anyway. Okay, 1 versus 1. Decent number of exhausts from our ranged firepower. And a pretty significant defeat for the enemy. We are, at this point, I think, successfully attriting down their forces. The otherwise elite garrison is completely overrun there, giving us the province, or giving us the territory. In fact, we're even more in the progressing tier. We're moving up 1 spot. Buy, sell, or displace slaves, and the answer usually for us is displace. Okay, so we got this one under siege, we got that one under siege. Our troops did manage to come in for serving a garrison role. Martial law from 6 units is running about a reduction of 0.75. So arguably we want a unit stack of about 12, or about 24. That is to be believed. Okay, so that means we want some more. We'll have some more march in because we've got them available to do that move. We probably want 24, so I'll raise another 12, so we can bring that stack up to 24 and see how that looks. Walls are breached. Assault the garrison. If they don't surrender. Walls are not breached. This garrison's pretty small. Pretty fatigued already. We'll take the gamble here, and we will go ahead and order the assault here as well. That's a new siege. Those guys you need to dig in. We do have another stack about to be able to come across. Put them here, and then we'll have them run that vector. Regional roads, limes. Regional roads. Say like there. Yeah, no convenient places for him to move where you can build something. Down in North Africa, we've got regional roads, limes to build there. And then you can move there and build regional roads, so keep having you move. I think that's the troop movement. Oh, I should decide where that one wants to move. Do we want over there? Yeah, do regional roads there. Just cross to the next island. Health of our leader has declined to very poor, so he may be about to change. We'll see who he swaps with. Hopefully get someone who's got better traits than Abysmal Administrator here. Because yeah, I'd like to get plus 10 loyalty for just getting anything that isn't Abysmal Administrator at this point. Definitely be appreciative of that. Nothing to build there. We're still working on the building there. Slow building it is fine at the moment. You know what? Let's go ahead and take the Royal Treasury here. It'll give us a 6 commerce building, so we can get access to the tier 3 ones. Over time, as we shove money into it, it will give culture as well. Open build slot. We don't need the loyalty here, and that is a good chunk of change from the bank. We are offered a dam, of all things. Food, health, 10 food, 15 health, 15%. Yeah, 10 food, 15 health. Honestly, that's not bad. I'm on board with that. Is that the last build slot for that place? No, we got another one. So we can still re-rolling to get really good buildings. Got a 2 and a 1. This is a 2. We don't need the loyalty building yet. We've got 2 spaces here, so I'm going to go ahead and take this whole house, because even though it takes up a space, that's a decent food health building. And then we can basically use that as a reroll. That's a perfectly good farm. I think we'll do the farm there. Unless I wanted the... Oh, 37 culture for the scriptorium is tempting. Yeah, I'll be lured by the culture building. Gives access to 2 or 3 culture buildings. We don't need 68 food up here, so we can move them onto production. That's probably good enough for the moment. Okay. Get on culture. That's fine. Just one of the 3 buildings here. Do you want to reroll or do you want something different? Actually, we could do without loyalty bonus. The decadence is a little bit high, but the loyalty isn't bad. Granary. No, we're gonna go courthouse here. Oh, we're not even offering the well here, so this is a bad place to make a farming state anyway. Courthouse. Temple for the greater conversion rate? Yeah, temple for the greater conversion rate. Improve the walls. Yeah, this is a good place to improve the walls because this is actually on border of the barbarian Sahara. $33 money with potential if we can get frankincense in there and go even higher. Sure. 1 and a 1. Ooh, land expansion. And the other one... we got a bunch of culture conversion we want to do, otherwise the temple would be real tempting here. But again, it loses the conversion rate. Which I suppose the Romans we don't necessarily need, but... I think we'll grab the wheelmaker here. So we can have the 3 infrastructure buildings, get access to the tier 2 set. Which includes things like the nice land expansion. One open slot. Because this is a place where we're not going to get farms. Smokehouse is a pretty good health building, given the circumstances. 2 open slots here. Land expansion is always nice when it pops up. So we got 3 over there. We need more loyalty, but conversion is one way to get that, so that's not a problem. Well, I say need. We want more loyalty. We want 75. We need like 50. We don't need loyalty here. What's the provincial unit here? Control the province. I should be getting the provincial unit. Hispanic Scutarii. Okay. Oh, there's the Hispanic Scutarii. So he's a medium infantry. Okay. Mountain men. So if we need guys to go into the mountains, that's these guys. These guys do mountains well. Do we need that right now? No. But for the future, if we remember. The reason I was asking that question is because if the special guys for the provincial guys were cav, we'd do the stables. They're not, so we're not. Makes that choice easy. Pick up the furnace, get access to tier 2 commerce. Okay, nothing to build there, so now we're on to the loose. Walls would not be a bad choice here. This is a place where we're eventually going to want to fight Carthage for expanding. That's why that's not in a province, why it's so loose. It's two of the 5 that we got off of the Carthaginian capital circle. And let's roll the turn. We'll make this the last turn of this part. So we'll leave everyone... Well, we'll not leave you on cliffhanger. We'll see how all the offensives go, and then we'll put the part break in. They're attacking with their 1-2. We're defending with our 2-1. It's kind of the opposite you want, but well, at least it's equal and fair for us. Roman skirmish. Again, our ranged firepower has got a good amount of exhaustions. So they're taking -2 of the exhaustion, which is nice. So 9v6, that's an easy win for us. And they lost their general. Okay. So yeah, it looks like the Roman army in the south is, or the Macedonian army in the south is beginning to collapse. Ranged phase. Maybe not the best of exhaustion. But these are exhausted city defenders already in the fortress here. So yeah, the line falls, the city falls. Oh, and the one up north surrendered already. Okay. And when they... Well, we dropped a few steps, but we're still in the progressing tier, even as a glorious empire. Seeking an alliance with us. Sure, we're on board with that. We might try to turn them to client state in the future. Siege of Pellet is over. Corn laws. Usually the corn laws, I do go ahead and take the sanitation works here. And there we go, I think, for the starter turn pop-ups. And we get another prospector resources. Okay, so looking at that, I think that's where I'm going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow. Not sure exactly which day we're up to recording on. We're probably getting close to where the recordings for Factorio ending. So when the Factorio recording's ending, this will shift up one time slot. And one... last night we did, sort of spoilers for last night's stream, we did finish Shadow Empire, which I believe that one will end going with scheduled releases the day after Factorio. So the day after that, again, this will probably shift up another time slot, so we'll actually move up 2 time slots in that effect. Don't know if this will be the first one that'll move up or if it's one of the future ones. Just be aware that it's going to be coming up in the future. This might be being released a little bit later in the day if you're following along. Yeah, but otherwise, if you're watching YouTube, there will be part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break, check on the family, and once that's done, I'll get right back to playing. The campaign in Macedonia is starting to speed up in pace as we're able to bring more and more troops back in from the west, and we're raising some garrison forces to help suppress revolts, I think. It was what was causing some of the forts to swamp back in an annoying manner. But yeah, so we got one army down in Southern Greece. I think we'll be able to drive off soon. There looks to still be one field army in Northern Greece, but that field army lacks dedicated line troops and are basically got cavalry to serve their line. Cavalry don't necessarily fight particularly well in the hills, so that shouldn't be really a problem for a normal Roman legion. So I suspect with just patience and time, we should be able to sweep what's left of Macedonia from Greece, the greater Grecian area. But with that, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and/or stream. And bye for now.